Terry Moran?
That every American owes Howard University a debt because the segregation, the road to desegregation in this country goes through Howard University Law School. Thurgood Marshall came up with the strategy there. The community came to the moot courts that they held. They criticized constructively the strategy, and it was a community effort based in Howard University under the leadership of the great law dean Charles Hamilton Houston and Thurgood Marshall. And we would not have desegregation the way we had were it not for Howard University.
And now, the Vice President of the United States, a proud graduate of Howard University, there with her family, getting prepared for her walk up the avenue. Lindsay Davis, Kamala Harris' sister, Maya, one of her closest advisors.
Yes, in fact, she ran her campaign early on. At this point, she does not. I see her there with her niece and her niece's two children as they are making this walk up to the White House. It's been suggested that, in part, Kamala Harris chose to wear purple in tribute to Shirley Chisholm. That was her color. Of course, Shirley Chisholm attempted to make that run for president, first black woman on a major party ticket running for president back in 1972, I believe it was. Yep. And she is making that purple a representation as well of Shirley Chisholm.
Cecilia Vega, you covered Kamala Harris, the vice president in California.
In my past life as a newspaper reporter at the San Francisco City Hall when she was the district attorney there, and I'm thinking back to a conversation that I had with a source who worked very closely with her for years, who described, and this was, I'm going to be a little bit hesitant because I hate this word about women, and this was another woman telling me this, that they described Kamala Harris as ambitious, and that wasn't meant in the sense of she shouldn't be ambitious. It was meant in the sense that Kamala Harris went from DA to AG to Senate to this, knew that there was a path that she was on, that she was destined for a lot. And in her post in San Francisco was a controversial one. There were decisions that had the Democrats angry with her because at one point she refused to charge a convicted killer, a cop killer, with the death penalty, and it didn't go over well. But she stood her ground because that was her principle. And here we are today, George. I'm still struck by the Howard University marching band and HBCU, historically black college and university.
Can you hear what they're saying?
I think she's close to Mary, George.
Mary, can you hear what she's saying down there?
I can't. Lots of waves, George, some thumbs up. The family certainly is having a very, very good time soaking in this moment. And I have to say, Joe Biden always said her story is America's story. And you just look at that family marching up Pennsylvania Avenue, and it is a picture of American diversity. It is a picture of the modern American family. And right now, it's a picture of a family soaking up a moment of history, a moment of huge importance, not just for our nation, but for the world and the message that it sends, but also just a moment for them to sort of pause and reflect and soak it all in. This has been a really hard year, a really hard-fought campaign, and I have to tell you, it looks like the little girls are having a good time, too.
Thank you. So we're joined now by Senator Amy Klobuchar. Of course, she ran in the presidential campaign, competed with Kamala Harris, competed with Joe Biden in the last campaign, was one of the chairs of the inaugural event. Today, your thoughts as you see the vice president walk up the avenue, your thoughts on this day?
George, with everything that's happened the last few weeks, the assault on our democracy, one of my goals with this inauguration that we don't lose, and we didn't lose, this moment of great celebration for our first woman, first African-American, first Asian American vice president. It was an incredible moment, and both Roy and I, Roy Blunt, who chaired this, got a lot of grief for going forward, actually. People said to us, that's why I did the Lincoln quote about him getting grief. They said, oh, why are you going on with this? Maybe he should be in a bunker after what happened and get sworn in a bunker. It would be safer. And we just thought that moment, which I know you appreciate, that majesty of history, to have President Bush there, to have Vice President Pence there, to have the leadership on both sides sitting behind Kamala Harris and Joe Biden was so important for this country right now to heal and move forward.
After watching the moment, it's hard to imagine deciding anything else.
Yeah. That's right. We didn't think it was going to snow and then turn into sun. I will tell you that. I got to talk to Lady Gaga, so maybe that made it all worth it. But it was just this. I thought Joe's speech, the president's speech, I have to convert to that now, was the most beautiful thing, because he really spent his time talking directly to Americans in a plain-spoken way, and basically said, I'm ready to give you a chance. If you didn't vote for me, you give me a chance, and let's move on together. And it's hard for Republican members even of Congress not to hear that and know he means it.
What a year you have had. A year ago, you were sitting in the Senate trial while running for president, went through the entire presidential campaign, you and the entire country went through COVID. Your husband contracted COVID. You came out of this election that the Democrats won, that Joe Biden won, and then faced that assault in the Capitol. You were there in the chamber 2 weeks ago. Have you been able to wrap your mind around the events of the last year?
That is an amazing question, because I thought about that a lot, actually, when Garth Brooks was singing Amazing Grace. I just looked up at the blue sky and I thought, yeah, I made it through, but America made it through. And that's why at the very end, when I introduced the president, I said, we've been waiting for this for a long time. And I meant that for him and his family. You know, he would have liked this job for many, many years. But I mostly meant it for our country, that we have made it through, as our democracy has done, for 244 years through some really rough times. And now it's time to come out in the light in the other day. And I couldn't help but think of the stormy clouds over Donald Trump's inauguration, where I was seated with my friend who I miss so much, John McCain, as well as Bernie on the other side. And then here we were 4 years later. And I think that's how a lot of Americans felt.
And you believe we can heal?
I believe it. I'm not a Pollyanna about this. I know the anger. I certainly felt it myself as my staff was crouched in a closet with nothing but a fork to protect them, because we were running the debate on the Democratic side. I know it. But at the same time, there are people of goodwill on both parties that want to move forward and get things done. And if they listen to their constituents, they'll tell you that's all they want right now. They are sick and tired of watching the discontent, seeing people who are so angry, and they really just want to get the vaccine. They really just want to get back their job. They want to be able to send their kids to school again. And if Joe Biden takes that as his mission, it's real hard to say no to him. And I think that's what's just about to happen.
Senator Klobuchar, thanks for your time. Thanks for making the decision to go forward with this inauguration. As we watch the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, walk her way up West Executive Avenue with her family, with her husband, now the second gentleman of the United States, Doug Emhoff, her great nieces. Rachel Scott, it looked like her grandniece there was practicing to one day walk up that avenue herself.
And she actually suggested that once, right before the race was called, saying that she wanted to be an astronaut president. And Kamala Harris, the vice president, then told her that she could do that, but she has to wait until she's 35, until she's old enough. You know, this is the first time that this family has seen each other in months, since the race was actually called. You have Doug Emhoff there, the second gentleman. But Harris said that while vice president would be great when she was running, she said Mamala is her favorite title, and that is what she is known as to their two kids, Cole and Ella. You see them there. This is a family that represents the diversity of America. It's a changing face in politics that we are seeing play out right here before us, and it is just remarkable. It's a remarkable image, both of them walking up there to the EOB, the White House, on the complex there. Harris says that she would like to keep her family dinners. She likes to spend some time around the dinner table on Sundays. They've been doing this via Zoom lately during the pandemic. That's one thing that she would like to keep as she moves into her role as vice president. But again, really reflecting the diversity of America, what we are seeing playing out right now. The second gentleman, the first second gentleman our country has seen, and the first woman and woman of color to serve as Vice President of the United States, marching up those steps right now, George.
The steps of the old Executive Office building. She'll have a large suite of offices there. Of course, she'll also have a smaller office in the West Wing, closer to the President. No doubt we'll spend hours and hours in the Oval Office with the President of the United States as well. little nod of the head as it all soaks in. Now she gets to work as well. Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.